welcome to this week's video. These are the videos where I keep a vlog of my life as a full-time professional musician working in the UK. Now this week I'm going to do it slightly differently. I'm going to have a bit of a theme here because last week I teased my new pedal that I'd bought and I didn't reveal what it was, and I had quite a lot of comments guessing what it was, and I gave a couple of clues and some people have now guessed it. So I'm going to now do the proper reveal. Here's the lovely little velveteen drawstring bag it comes supplied with, and then if I turn it round I reveal the name Eventide, so you can probably guess by now. I bought myself a H9. Now, the day I bought this, I've wanted one of these for quite a long time, and well, I sold some bits of gear over the summer, some old bits of gear, and I got the money together and I've been putting it off and putting it off because they're not cheap, but I had the money set aside, so I went to Anderton's in Surrey, in Guildford, as I was passing on the way to a gig, and I went and bought it. Now, I went through that typical post-purchase curve of very excited that I bought it, then, oh my god, what have I done? Oh, this is terrible, this is terrible. And then I plugged it in, I used it, and it was like, oh my god, this is brilliant, I really enjoy this. And then I discovered they brought out a new model pretty much on the day that I bought it. Now, it's not exactly a new model, it's an updated version, and it's a bigger version. It's called the H90, and it does basically the same as this, but it does more of it. So just to describe my week in a short sequence, let me show you this. So anyway, there we are. That was the roller coaster of emotion that I've been through this week. But all in all, actually, I'm glad I bought this. The new one is, well, not quite twice the price. It's 50% more, at least 50% more. Don't even know they're available in the UK yet. But in actual fact, it's too big to fit on my pedal board, the other one. And this one does more than enough. I mean, I spent the first gig that I got it scrolling through all 99 presets trying to find something that I could use. I'm never going to be short of options on this, and it fits very nicely onto my pedal board. So on reflection, I'm glad I bought it. The bigger one is £1,000 in the UK, and I definitely wouldn't have bought it. So I'm glad I bought this because this was just about, I had just about enough money set aside from what I sold to get it. So actually, long term, no regrets. I've never really been a big effects user, a bit of delay. I had a phaser on my board and some rotary stuff I've had in the past. I've got these pedals that I occasionally strap onto my pedal board, but I don't have anything sat on my pedal board that does all that stuff. So this is a bit of a departure for me, but I've decided I quite like experimenting with different things. So what I'm going to show you now is the first gig where I actually properly sorted this out. I loaded on the H9 control, and what you can do is you can create a shorter list of presets and put them all in order and then load them onto the pedal. So I'm going to show you some of the presets that I set up my first try. This was a gig with my band that I play with called Not the Hoople. We're not a Not the Hoople tribute band. In fact, we didn't play any Mott the Hoople on Saturday. I was reminded of this story that one time some guy travelled 200 miles to see us because he thought we were a Mott the Hoople tribute band, only to discover that at best we did 2 of their songs. So, a bit upsetting. We didn't pretend we were, he just didn't read the small print. Anyway, let me show you this. So this was a gig with that band, which Ralph and Chris, who you've seen on my videos before. I very much enjoyed playing with this band. Now this first song is Romeo and Juliet, and I did set up a nice preset for free falling, which we did in a set, but my GoPro failed, so I haven't got the footage of that. So first one I'm going to show you, I set up this nice dual reverb sound. Here's the preset. I sort of tweaked one of the built-in ones. I started off the intro, and what I quite like about this clip is if you watch the rest of the band, they're kind of going, we haven't heard that before. They're sort of looking slightly, either they like the sound or they're confused by it. Anyway, I thought this was quite nice. So this is the intro, and then I'm going to cut the intro and I'm going to show you just the start of the solo. And I thought it sounded very nice. And then, being a bit of a new boy with this, I turned it off as I kind of got into some of the quicker bits on the solo because it got a bit mushy. But as you can hear, when it goes dry, it sounds really dry. It's like you're chewing on silica gel. So have a listen to this. I thought it sounded quite nice. Next clip, this is Lovely Day. Now on here, one of the presets that it comes with is called E major, and it's a kind of harmonizer. It's got some thirds and probably fifths on it that all harmonise in E major, and it's quite clever actually. It sounds very nice, and I mean they're known for their harmonising effects. Eventide, that was kind of where they started. Now I had on my preset, I'd worked out a way of assigning one of the buttons to the key and then I could scroll through it, but I thought actually I've got so many things to think about with this. Even though I cut down the number of presets I took on the gig to about 12, it was still too many, and I thought I'm just going to wait for a song that's in E major. So this is Lovely Day. So this is what the harmonizer sounds like. This is a picture of it, show you how it's set up. It's pretty much a copy of the one that comes with it, and here we are. This is what it sounds like. So the next song, this is Treasure by Bruno Mars, and on this I used a preset that I'd tweaked. Again, it was one of the presets that it came with, and I kind of tweaked it. It's the mod delay algorithm. I'll show you it here. Now, I'm not totally sure what this one is doing, but I just like the sound of it, so I used it, and I think I probably held down the tap button for 2 seconds, and then you can tap the tempo to get it in time. So I thought it sounded pretty cool. It was a nice delay. Next we did Hold the Line. Now I don't really know how to play this one. I did write a chart out a very long time ago, so I'm kind of following the chart. But anyway, this is the solo from it, and the sound that I kick in halfway through, because I didn't have it on all the way through, it's, well, I'll show you it here. I've called it Fat EVH, and that is basically a shorthand, so I knew what it was. It's a kind of fattener, it's a doubler thing based on one of these sounds from their original 910, which I've actually got the UAD plug-in for that. It's the rack-mounted studio harmonizer. I think it's from the 70s or 80s maybe, but yeah, I've got the model of the Pro version, but that's a similar thing, and it's, I think Eddie Van Halen used that harmonizer in the studio, and it certainly sounds like it on some of the sort of Hagar era stuff. You can hear it's not quite chorusy, it's like a big fat doubling sound. Stevie Ray Vaughan used the Roland Studio chorus in a similar way, like on Pride and Joy. I did do a video on that, where you've got a very mild chorusy effect, but it basically spreads the guitar. It makes that mono guitar, kind of spreads it across the stereo spectrum. So that's what I did with this one, and if you you can hear the difference. So I kick it on halfway through the solo, and it does give it that kind of 80s, slightly chorusy sound. It's quite a nice sound. Anyway, see what you think of this one. So this is a solo on Hold the Line using the, not quite sure what it is, but it's like the doubling effect. Onto a silly one. We did funky music, and it was one of the presets that it came with, and I used it on the very first time that I used it, which I think I showed on last week's video. It's a kind of octave fuzz thing. These track the note you're playing, especially if it's one note at a time, incredibly well, and I think it's various octaves. Here's the picture of the preset. So that was quite a silly sound, but again, I'm just quite getting into this. I'm obviously using it too much at the moment because I've just got it, but it's nice to vary things up, especially if you're just doing, if you haven't got a keyboard player, if you're doing guitar, bass and drums, you can add some different sounds. This has got a synth thing on, which I've yet to experiment with. But anyway, this is the kind of octave fuzz. This is funky music. So all in all, I'm very pleased with this. I'm not bothered that I got one that's been superseded on the day I bought it. It's definitely really good. I need to get a bit more subtle with it. On these kind of function gigs I do, or the bar gigs, we never really write a set list. It's all a bit on the fly. We're deciding what we're doing as we go along, seeing how the audience is reacting, which with this kind of pedal where you've got to scroll through the presets makes it a bit tricky. But I've now got the H9 control on my iPad, which I normally have set up on those kind of gigs for lyrics and stuff, and it's very easy to control from that. So you can do all kinds of things using the control thing. You link it with Bluetooth, so I can just fire off different presets fairly easily. So I think that's the way I'm going to use it. And then when I'm doing my my own material, then I can write a proper set list and write things all in order, and then I can set patches up per song. Sounds rather organised, doesn't it? I've never done that in my life. I've always just done things on the fly, but I think that's probably a good way of using this. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. You probably noticed actually on these clips that I've shown you that the sound on stage isn't great. You can't really hear the vocals, and you can't hear the keyboards all that well, and that's because for the very first time we all used in-ear monitors. Now I promised last week that I was going to show at some point how I've set up my in-ear monitors with my guitar cab, and I will get round to that, but I still haven't had a chance this week. But I'm going to leave you with this. Now this is a song by a London band called Chaz and Dave. Now unfortunately the piano player from Chaz and Dave died not that long ago, and I never got to see them live, which I was most disappointed about. But they did this brilliant song called Rabbit, and we do it with this band, and I'm going to show it to you. Now unfortunately you can't quite get the full effects because of the lack of stage monitors, but they did this great thing where they went rabbit, 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 rabbit. They alternately did it, and if you notice we've kind of got it together. Ralph's singing the first rabbit and I'm singing the second one. And it's a great song, so I'm just going to leave you with this. There's no harmonizer on it, but I think it sounds quite nice. So I hope you enjoyed the video. I'm bringing out new videos 7 PM on a Friday UK time every week, so I hope to see you next week.